Yeah. You gotta go for it today. Come on. Get chest of the day, everybody. You came. You saw. You conquered. Happy Flex Friday, Chris Ryan Fitness fam. An absolutely fantastic 30-minute going on after those abs for you here today. We are going on after those abs. We body weight and styled here today. So you might need a workout mat, yoga mat down there on the ground for you. But let's get you nice and loose from a standing position first. We're going to open up that trunk a little bit right here. HB Tiger, happy Flex Friday to you. Palms facing down. There we go. Reach on out behind you as far as you can. With those pinky fingers, open up through that chest, those abdominals, try to pull those ribs far apart right there. Addie as well. Great to have you in class. Pull those thumbs up now. Palms facing up now behind you. Smooth and controlled. Roll those shoulders down to the ground, towards the fingertips, to the back of the heels. Eyes are to the back of the room, Kitty K-Dubs. How are you doing as well? And then go ahead and reach on up. Cup those elbows up, end over end, just like so. You're going to tilt a little bit over to that left side. There you go. And then over on up to that right side. There you go. Back on in. Smooth and controlled. Casa. There you go. Getting it done. As boxers, we in every workout are with abs, but never 30 minutes of abs. I think I want my mommy. There you go, guys. I absolutely love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, this one is at a beginner level. It will be a longer workout, but it's definitely going to be at a beginner level. So it's going to be tough, but it's going to be a nice tough. There you go. Especially for our Flex Friday. Sometimes they tend to be a little tougher. So switching up that calendar for us all. Let's take it down on the ground. Lori 25, how you doing here today? Take those hands and knees on the ground, toes pointed away from your body. You're going to go ahead and round your back right here, cat position, pushing hard through those palms, and then go ahead and arch your back. Eyes forward, squeezing through those shoulder blades as much as you can. Take that right hand up to that right temple. Punch that right elbow up high to the sky. Open up your ribs. Stack your shoulders over one another. Smooth and controlled. Switch it on up. Left hand up to that left temple. Punch on up strong. Shoulders stacked. Reach and stretch up as high as you can. Push back into a child's pose right here. Butt on top of those heels. Toes putting away. Face down and in towards the ground. Hands reaching all the way out in front of you. Lengthen that spine for 2 and 1. Great job on that warm-up, everybody. Now let's go flip over to our backside. So you got 30 minutes. You got a big section followed after another. 4 total sections coming here today. Somewhere between about 5 to 6 exercises per section, give or take. We're going to come over on our backside right here. A little 101 movement right here. So basic ab movement. Knees perpendicular up over those hips. Reach those fingertips up high towards the ceiling. Now, just because it says 101 beginner level ab class or beginner level movement doesn't mean that it's not going to be tough, right? Been training abs for the better part of like 3+ decades myself. So this is still a hard class for me. The main thing is this amount of attention that you can put into any movement that makes the movement hard. I could just hang out right here with a C curve in my lumbar spine, kind of just have my arms relatively straight, but not fully lengthened, right? Reaching the fingertips up as high as they can. I'm trying to produce tension through the core on all these movements. I'm trying to produce tension, though, that I can handle. So I'm smashing my ribs to the hips. I'm driving my belly button towards my hips and my belly button down and in towards my tailbone. There you go. Smooth and controlled. Reach up high with the fingertips and then press that femur, the knee, down and in towards the hip. Great job, everybody. Crunch time. So now you're going to bring the feet down on the ground. We're going to do crunches this way. Fingertips at your temples. Take your chin in towards your chest, looking forward between your knees. So your elbows are out wide, butterfly style. You're not putting your hands behind your neck. You're keeping those abs tight right here. And what I want you to do is just gently squeeze those ribs to the hips an inch. That's it. And then bring your shoulder blades back to the ground. Good. Keep your abs relatively tight in this position, give or take about a 3 or 4 out of a 10. And then you're going to just push the ribs to the hips, squeeze as hard as you can for about 1 second. You're just lifting your shoulder blades off the ground about an inch. If at any point you need to bring your head back to the ground because it feels like there's too much tension in your neck, please do so. What I want you to do, though, is think about building that tension, sliding those ribs at a horizontal position towards your pelvis. Your fingers are against your temples, elbows are wide, and you're compressing those abs in as much as possible. Great job right there, everybody. Oblique crunch. Come over to your right side. This time you're going to bend your knees and stack your hips. Pull your knees over the top side. You are on your right side. So right arm, Right leg is low side position, elbow south of the shoulder. Left hand's going to be out in front just like this. You're going to squeeze through that low side position on those low right side obliques. Your left hand's going to be on the ground just for a little extra stability. You're not trying to push into the ground in any way right here, though. Down we go, and then up we go. Smooth and controlled, rib to the hip, hip to the rib, squeezing and flexing through as much as you can in that low side position. Elbow south of the shoulder. Fist is in nice and tight the whole way through. So once again, beginner level obliques. We just want to be able to feel those obliques, right? The little pillars of strength over there in our abdominal cavity for 2 and 1. Great job. Switch it over to our left side now. So left forearm on the ground. Elbow is south of the shoulder. Fist is nice and tight. Right hand can be somewhere on the ground, just out in front of the hips. Squeeze through that low left side position. Down we go, smooth and controlled. Low left side position. Down we go, smooth and controlled. Once again, we're not just cranking out reps like this. And, okay, Coach Chris, I just did 378 reps in this 1 minute segment. No, I'm looking for several good reps right here. I want you to think tension is more important than anything right now. So you're squeezing and you're feeling your muscles engage strong as possible. You're feeling the support in your shoulder by pushing the forearm hard through the ground, right? There you go. So you're trying to push and elevate your hips, your torso off the ground as high as possible by squeezing and engaging right here, strong as you can for 2 and 1. Crunch this time with an alternating reach. So before we had the fingertips at the temples. So now what I want you to do is come back into that crunch position. The head starts on the ground. Splay the fingers out nice and wide and have those fingertips reaching up as high as you can to start on out, okay? Now from that position, take your chin in towards your chest. Keep those abs tight. You are looking forward now, and you're feeling tension in your abs, not your neck, looking towards the ceiling, right? You're looking through those knees. And now what I want you to do, lift up just that left fingertips up a little higher than the right, back on into center, a little higher with that right and that left, back on in. Chin goes, our head goes down to the ground, open on up, squeeze through, and then reach up right side this time to lead it, and then that left side this time to lead it. So now you're just kind of breaking apart the abdominal cavity ever so slightly, right? Chin tucked on in, reach left, reach right. Let's hit one more, everybody. You got your rest interval coming your way here in a second. Right side, left side. Great job. Rest it on up. So that was our first section here today. Now we're going to be going after 3 more sections, building on the time under tension, right? So the time, give or take, everything's going to be about 60 seconds in length. Some reps will be able to do more in certain exercises than others. But that tension, right, we're going to go after and break apart those abs in a multitude of different ways. Some will be prone, some will be face down, face up. So we're going to be going on after side positions as well. This one is called a low knee plank. So we're going to come over with both forearms on the ground. Knees are going to be on the ground, but behind our hips. So you're going to walk those forearms down to the ground, elbow south of the shoulder, make a triangle position with those forearms and push hard through those forearms. Tighten up your tailbone down and in towards the ground and pull those ribs towards those hips. So it almost looks like a rounded back position at this point. Your chin is tucked into your chest, but you are pushing maximal tension into those abdominal muscles. You're tucking your tailbone down and in, and I'm going to just elevate up a little bit if you care to check it on out. So here I would be if I was totally neutral, and here I would be if I was engaged, right? This is what I want to think about. The more I can put tension through the core, the backside is going to look a little bit more rounded, almost like I like to say turtle shell style effect, but it's not sagging, right? This is not what you're doing. You're not sagging those hips. You're taking the tension out of the core. If you do that, the goal, abs, get them stronger, my friends. Great job. High plank. Now you're going to walk up to a high plank push-ups position. The crook of your elbow is this position of your elbow. That will be pointed away from you. That will help settle up those lats back and down. Thumbs tilted in, fingers pointed away as well. Let's go. So high plank push-up position, feet hip width apart. You're going to apply force generation and pressure through those palms. Splay those fingers out nice and wide. Hands just below those shoulders. And then I want you to do the same thing you were doing earlier, tightening up your butt and pulling your ribs to the hips. But push as hard as you can through those palms. Splay those fingers as wide apart from one another as possible and turn the crook of your elbow away from your face. That's right. So they're pointed away from your body. thumbs tilted in towards one another. Fingers are pointed directly out in front of you, splaying them out nice and wide, and your feet are about hip width apart. You're trying to squeeze through those abs, tightening up your butt, and tucking your tailbone down and in towards the ground. Excellent job. Now we're going to work some of the posterior stabilizers with the swimmer. You're going to elongate your arms out in front of you, feet out behind you, toes pointed away. So elbows locked, legs locked to the knees, and you're going to go up. Left arm, right leg, hold 1001, 1002, and then switch it up. Right arm, left leg, hold 1001, 1002. You're going to reach up in front of your shoulder and in the back side of your hip with that leg. Excellent, excellent work. Your eyes should be pointed down towards the ground, give or take. You can even rest your forehead on the ground. But the goal, trying to clear your upper arm past your ear, or at least in alignment with the ear, in alignment with your shoulder. So you're not going out wide. I don't want you bending your elbow here. I want you to think, even if you can only lift up your arm just a couple inches off the ground, that's totally cool. It's something to work on. This helps to improve our posture in our shoulders by lengthening through our lats and strengthening through our upper mid-back position, as well as that low back and those glutes, my friends. And of course, the muscle stabilizers there through the obliques. Great job. Bent knee rockers. Flip it over on your backside now. So you're coming on in. Remember that dead bug hold that we did earlier? Good. Let's get set back up in that position. So palms facing away toward your knees, knees on up. And you remember that crunch? Good. Chin in toward your chest, eyes a little forward toward your knees. Now all I want you to do, hold that position, but gently tilt the heels down towards the ground a couple inches, and then tilt on back with those hands. So all you're doing is rocking forward and backward. But at this time, you have to maintain that midline stability. As I rock forward with those knees, the hands do not come forward. As I rock back, the knees do not come back towards the elbows, right? You want to think you're keeping that same equidistant position, same movement, but just a little extra rock adds a little hot sauce for those abs. Great job, everybody. Single leg toe touch time. Right leg goes straight, left leg bent, left arm above your head, reaching out behind you as far as you can. Not behind your head, reaching up above your shoulder and behind your head, right? So go up, opposite hand towards opposite toe. Slide that left rib towards the right hip towards left rib. Your right hand will be on the ground just outside your hip. You're trying to punch through multitudes of different tensions in this workout. This one is more of a cross section, right? So it's more upper ab left to lower ab right, and lower ab right to upper ab left. Excellent, excellent work. The reason why we do so many different exercises in these ab classes, or in these classes in general on the strength training side, is we want to get on after our muscles from a multitude of different directions so they're prepared for anything we throw at it. Sometimes you want to hold an isometric hold. Sometimes we want to do some sort of twist. Sometimes we want to do what I call an anti-rotation movement. There you go. Great job. And working all those different exercises gets your trunk and your core strong as possible for anything. Left hand on the ground, right hand reaching above your head, left leg out in front. Reach on up towards your toe, touch the toe, modify as needed. If you have tight hamstrings, you're going to take a stretch and mobility class, and you're going to touch just the knee if you need a modifier like so. You can even rest your head on the ground as well. But the goal, squeezing the opposite rib towards the opposite hip as much as possible. Think slow, controlled descent down. Toe is dorsiflexed in towards your shin and knee the whole way through. Driving the ribs to the hips, hips to the ribs. Locked on in, everybody, for those gains. The head, 10 seconds left. Right there, right now, for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Fantastic job. Rest it on up. Halfway already. Oh, yeah. So 30 minutes, definitely not for the faint of heart. It is definitely a longer class when it comes to abs, right? 30 minutes of abs, I would equate out to like a 45-minute regular total body strength class in my book. But because you're so concentrated right here in that trunk. But we are doing a little flip-flop going on from backside, front side, obliques, you name it. We got you going the best way possible. So don't be afraid if you're choosing those modifiers as well along the way. Definitely a class to build upon no matter what. Alternating high plank knee drive. Remember that high plank from earlier? Go back over to that high plank position. Crook your elbow pointed away. That's going to help pull the shoulder blades together and pull those lats down and in, producing more force through that core and that backside. Feet hip width apart, chin tucked in towards your chest, eyes down towards the ground. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, check, check, check. Now take that right knee in towards your belly button. Toes dorsiflexed in, take it back on out. Left knee in towards your belly button. Dorsiflexed in with the foot and the toe. The goal, not collapsing or twisting in any way. Remember what I said earlier? Anti-rotation movements sometimes are what we're looking for. Sometimes we like to rotate as well. This time, I want you to think anti-rotation. I don't want you rotating. When you are in that tripod for just a few seconds, I want you to be able to hold that core to stabilize your whole body from doing this core movement in the beginning, right? Great job, everybody. Dead bug with a reach. Legs will be locked up perpendicular with the thigh over the hip. Your arms are going to be reaching out, alternating style, though, on this one. So back over to our dead bug. You're going to have everything nice and tight and just reach out that left arm all the way out behind your shoulder as far as you can and keep the elbows straight and locked and then back into center and then alternating with that right arm straight and locked. Lengthen through your triceps and your lats. No movement allowed in any other portion of your body but your arm. Keep your arm locked to the elbow in alignment with your shoulder the whole way through. So what I mean by that is we're not going to come out, right, because we're tight. I want you to think lengthen, mobility. Oh, yeah. But as I lengthen, I'm not developing a C-curve in my lower lumbar spine. I'm still smashing my ribs to the hips to keep my lumbar spine down on the ground. Excellent, excellent job. Low plank position again. Flip-flop it over. Now you're going to go low plank to pike. So remember we did knee low planks earlier? You're going to do that same little knee low plank position. And then from that one, I want you to drive the hips up high. Squeeze those abs as hard as you can as you bring your head through those arms. And then right back onto that low knee plank. Tailbone tucked down and in. Toes are on the ground. Abs always tight. We are not sagging our hips. We want to think squeezing constant tension in your core the whole way through. The toes are pointed away. They're not curled up and under. That way, we want to make sure we're putting as max tension in just the core. With the toes pointed away, we can increase that core tension a little bit more without support of the feet. Great job, everybody. 2 and 1. Flip it back over that dead bug now. Arms are going to be straight and locked, but now you're going to kick out that leg ever so slightly. Not to a full straight leg position, just several inches. So now what you're going to do, hands reaching up, knees up over those hips. By this point, you're an old pro at this movement, right? Lock it on in. Now, keep everything straight except for that left leg. Kick that left heel out a couple inches. Bring it back on in. Nice. Do it again, this time with that right side. Couple inches, back on in. So somewhere between maybe like 3 to 5, 6 inches, give or take, with a knee going beyond the hip. But you're not going all the way out to that straight leg position. When you do that, you notice what's going on. The lower abs need to remain activated. Plus, we got to work those stabilizers through our obliques, right? Keep the toes dorsiflexed in towards your shin and knee. Don't point the toe away. And then just think about pressing the heel horizontally out in front of you a few inches. Keep reaching those fingertips up as high as you can. When you reach the fingertips up high, it'll help settle up those ribs to the hips and stabilize as much as possible in that core. Sit-ups. Oh, yeah. A little escalation right here in our workout. Hands to the opposite shoulders, elbows up over the shoulders. The goal right here, doing a sit-up with the elbows touching those knees and then down slow and controlled. Modifier, you're going to drop the elbows in a crunch-style pattern towards your hips. Either way, I want you to think starting out perpendicular with the elbows, and you can collapse the elbows to the hips in that crunch-style formation, or do the full sit-up to activate that core at that sticking point right about there, where it feels like, oh, I want to fight for it. I got to squeeze a little harder at that sticking point. That is what we're looking for. But what I don't want to see is if you do choose to sit up, don't let the heels kick off the ground and start kicking the feet up to generate momentum. We don't want to think about throwing those hands fast like this to generate momentum either. Once again, this is a core ab-based workout. We want to feel the tension in the core and the abs as we do these movements. Butterfly sit-ups. Escalation a smidge further on this one. All right, little hip mobility thrown on in for good measure too. Bring those soles of those feet together. Knees are nice and wide. Butterfly wings, you go. All right, now you're going to have those hands reaching up behind your head. And now what you're going to do, if you can, we're going to do a full butterfly sit-up with a little extra momentum of those arms, touching the toes, or hands reaching above the head just like so. Pull the ribs to the hips and just gently pull the hands off the ground like this. That's it. Arms elongated behind your head. You are using your abs to squeeze and pull your arms up. I'm not just raising my arms up like this saying, why aren't my abs working, right? Once again, the common analogy on this one is I like to say, think about if you grew up with a big brother or a big sister, them stepping on your stomach, right? If you were a big brother or a big sister and you had some younger siblings, you probably were messing around with them too, right? Where you'd be like, I'm going to jump on you. Just kidding, right? That's what you got to think about on that one. Great job, everybody. But I always like to say, think about someone trying to mess with you. Be like, oh, I want to oh, take that, right? Just having fun. So think about pulling the ribs to the hips on those as much as you can. All right, everybody, a little rest interval here before our final fourth section. All righty, time to rock and roll here today. Take us on home, Flex Friday crew. Fantastic job. Keep it going. All right, reverse crunches. We're going to modify this reverse crunch with just a lower ab to mid ab focus. Your head is going to be rested on the ground. Hands are going to be on the ground. Start out with those heels on the ground. Use your lower to mid abs to pull your knees in towards your hip line ever so slightly. Then on the way down, keep that tension in, slow controlled by keeping your lumbar spine flat on the ground. The goal is not the crunch up. It is actually the way back down that I want you to really target. That way, as the muscles lengthen and the abdominal cavity stretches on out, you're producing more tension through the core and thereby getting a little extra strong on the eccentric as the muscles lengthen here versus the eccentric as they shorten. So the squeeze up, that's pretty cool, but it's way cooler on the way back down, my friends. Under control, not developing that C curve in on the way back down. Controlling that core that you worked so hard for here today for 2 and 1. Cross kicks. Keep your head rested on the ground. Palms are going to be on the ground. Slight bent knee position, similar to like half range dead bug like so. And your toes are going to be flexed back towards your shins. Start crisscrossing left over right and then right over left. The knees just a smidge in front of the hip line. You don't need to go all the way out with straight legs on this one, but I'd rather not have them past the hip line or in alignment with the hip line. It's going to be hard to activate that core if they're too far towards your ribs. So just a little bit in front and then pull the feet wide apart and then crisscross left over right, right over left. You're going to feel your inner thigh work here as well through the hip and the groin. Totally cool. Working through the hips, through the groin, through those lower abs. Great job, everybody. Try to keep the shins relatively horizontal to the ceiling. Toes dorsiflex back towards your shins and knees the whole way through. And knees just a little in front of the hips for 2 and 1. All right, let's try to target a full low plank now. So forearms on the ground, legs straight, abs nice and tight. So tailbone is tucked down and in towards the ground. You're producing max force and max tension on this one. You've conquered that low knee plank. But this time, I want you to think, last section, Flex Friday, I'm going to hold this low plank. I'm going to conquer this low plank here today. But if it still feels like you're a little wibble wobbly, you're sagging the hips in any way, go ahead and bring those knees down to the ground and just hit up that low knee plank. And don't be frustrated if you have to go to that low knee plank at any point during this exercise. The main goal, tension. You're still going to get those abs plenty strong, even in that low knee plank. But once again, keep that tension where it counts. Don't get that core weak by robbing yourself of those gains, everybody, and sagging those hips. For 2 and 1. Scissor kick time. So we did cross kicks earlier. Now we're going to go up and down in a scissor kick style fashion. Back over to our backside. Similar position to where we were at before. Heads on the ground. Back over that half range dead bug with the knee just a smidge in front of the hips. Toes dorsiflex back. Drop one foot to the ground, other foot to the ground. So you're just alternating like so, back and in. So the heels will kick towards the ground, and then you're just going to pull the knee up towards the hip, back and forth. Now, the goal of this one is to make sure the lumbar spine is flat on the ground. If you feel like it becomes much more hip flexor dominant than ab focused, odds are you probably lost that ab engagement. You want to think, if you have that C curve in your lumbar spine, pause, bring both heels down to the ground, reset, clench those abs as much as you can, bring the knees back up, hold that tension, drop just that left foot and just that right foot. Back and forth like so. Great job, everybody. Low plank hip dips. We're going to take it over to a low knee plank again on this one. Knees behind the hips, shoulders south of the, or elbows south of the shoulders. Rotate the hips down about 10 degrees to that right side and 10 degrees to that left side. Making sure you're rotating through the lower abdominals in those hips and the obliques. You're keeping your eyes and your sternum parallel to the ground, right? So I'm not turning side to side like this. I'm not dropping the hips side to side. I'm turning the hips in ever so slightly towards the ground. So I'm trying to drive through, turning just the hips back and forth. So if I was in a perpendicular style position, this is what it would look like, right? I'm turning like so. I'm not just moving back and forth side to side like that. Great job, everybody. For 2 and 1. 1 more minute remaining. Negative leg raises, positive gains. Don't be looking at that name thinking it's not a fun exercise. It's certainly fun. That's right, because it's the last one. On our backside, bent knees, take them on up, toes flex down and in towards the shins. Bring those feet together. Go down a few inches, maybe even a foot to 2, where the heels are just off the ground. Bring those knees up again, past the hips. Take it down slowly. Back and forth, fighting that tension the whole time. Fighting that C curve that wants to develop in your lumbar spine because your abs are getting tired. They want to disengage, but you're saying, abs, hold on for those gains. You've worked so hard for the last half hour. We only got another 15 seconds, just a few more reps. Stick with me, I'll get you stronger. That's what you want to do, everybody. Come on, less than 10 seconds remaining. 3, 4, 2, last one. Best one. Go as far down as possible and let it go. Great job. All right. Oh, wait, we have one more. Alternating single leg raise. Oh, my goodness. Okay, my bad. Here we go, everybody. I was ready after that negative leg raise. Okay, alternating single leg raise. Hands outside, your shoulders just like a T-style position. I know what you're going to do. Raise, keep those legs straight, lock to the knee. Take that left leg up, perpendicular, up over your hip. Squeeze through those abs. Take it down as slow as possible right here. Oh, yeah. There we go. Switch it up. Right leg, squeeze straight up over the hip. Take it down slowly. Toes dorsiflexed in towards your shin and knee. Head is resting on the ground. Arms out to that wide T-style position. Squeezing those abs as hard as you can to lift your leg. You are not trying to throw your leg up like this and back and forth. You're trying to muscle it up by squeezing your abs for 2 and 1. Now we made it to the cool down. Little curveball for us all right there, right? All right, everybody. Pop it on up. Stand tall. Stand proud. Oh, get those 6-packs flexed. Great job. Smiles on those faces. Once again, though, like I said, throughout this workout, it's a culmination of the workout itself. Each exercise leads into something else. It's a little bit of a building block. And even if you chose the different modifiers that I offer throughout this workout, at any point, don't be frustrated. Realize you are here. You are getting stronger every single time you show up to the Chris Ryan Fitness app. Every single exercise you do, every single round, every single section you do, you are getting a little bit better. Remember that. Follow those form cues that I teach. They will get you to where you want to go. Making sure you actually listen, don't just hear. Listen, don't just hear, right? Here we go. Great job, everybody. Let's get you stretched right on out. And speaking of stretch and mobility, we have a great stretch and mobility class coming your way here in about 15 minutes time at 12:45 p.m. East Coast time. If you're looking for an awesome stretch and mobility class, please check that one out. It'll be live 12:45 p.m. East Coast time here on the Chris Ryan Fitness app. It'll start about 15 minutes after this class ends. Great job. So turn those palms facing on up, and that'll be a whole total body stretch and mobility class. 15 minutes in length. Get you squared away for your Flex Friday in the best way possible. And then tomorrow, We'll be back live as well, 8 a.m. East Coast time. If you can make that one work in your busy schedules, please RSVP. I believe it's going to be an advanced level strength class. Let me double check the app here. There we go. Got all the programming done days ago, so you want to make sure the schedule's done weeks in advance. And yeah, strength total body advanced level. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Not beginner level. It'll be advanced level, strong Saturday stuff right there. So hopefully you can join us in that one as well. Please RSVP, everybody, 8 a.m. East Coast time on that one. If not, whole slew of amazing classes coming your way next week and the weeks following. Calendar's up through early October, so please RSVP to all those classes that make sense in your busy schedules. And guess what? The ones that can't fit in and don't make sense in your busy live schedules, then we're going to get it done with some on-demand work, right? You're going to tackle some programs. You're going to get on into it. Make sure the best workout you do is always the one that you actually do. Great job, everybody. Keep on paying the app forward with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Spread the word on the Chris Ryan Fitness app. Appreciate you all so much. Great job here today.